What if I told you that everything you think you know about time, that simple, straight line from yesterday to tomorrow, is just wrong? What if the whole idea of cause and effect isn't nearly as solid as it seems? Okay, let's dive into this, because some recent breakthroughs in physics are completely rewriting the rules of reality itself.
We all live by this, right? It's totally intuitive. It's the foundation of how we make choices, how we remember things, our entire experience of the world, really. The past? That's a chain of dominoes that's already fallen. The future? Well, that's just a line of dominoes waiting for us to push them over. It's just common sense.
Because that's pretty much exactly what's happening. A handful of experiments, just in the last couple of years, have started to dismantle this classic view of time. And the results? They are absolutely mind-bending. They're telling us that the dominoes of the future might actually be reaching back in time to help push over the dominoes of today. So, we're going to start with the most direct attack on our perception of reality, this idea of retrocausality. And look, this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment anymore. It's being demonstrated in the lab.
Yep, you heard that correctly. An event in the future can be the cause of something that happens in the past. I know, it sounds like a paradox, like it violates every rule of logic we have, but it's actually the cornerstone of a really powerful quantum theory that's getting a ton of experimental support right now.
So how on earth is this even possible? Well, the theory is called the two-state vector formalism, or TSVF. On the left here, you've got the standard view we all know. A system is only defined by what happened to it in the past. But this theory argues that that's only half the story. On the right, you see the retrocausal view. A particle's present is determined by two things: its state moving forward from the past and another state moving backward from the future.
The best way to picture it is like this. What we see as just a random quantum event happening right now is actually the meeting point, this handshake between a wave coming from the past and another wave coming from the future. The future isn't just some passive thing waiting to happen. It's an active player in creating what's happening right now.
And this experiment shows the idea in action. First, you entangle two particles. Let's call them A and B. Then, sometime in the future, you interact particle B with a third particle, D. But here's the crazy part. Step 4, that measurement you make in the future instantly reaches back in time and decides the state of particle A back here in the present. Now, this doesn't mean you can send lottery numbers to your past self. Paradoxes are still off the table, but it proves that the state of a particle today isn't truly set in stone until some future interaction happens.
All right, let's keep building on this. Because if you thought the future messing with the past was weird, this next discovery basically dissolves the timeline altogether. It suggests that the very ideas of before and after might just be an illusion.
This is the huge question behind a concept called indefinite causal order. So instead of event A causing event B, what if reality could exist in a state where A causes B and B causes A at the exact same time? A superposition of timelines.
And in 2025, this officially stopped being a what if. A team of physicists in Vienna ran this landmark experiment they called the quantum switch, and for the very first time, they proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that this indefinite causal order is a real thing in our universe.
So what you're looking at here is the smoking gun. Physicists calculated this hard limit, you could call it a speed limit for causality, for any universe that has a fixed timeline. That limit is 1.75. Anything above that is basically impossible if before always has to come before after. And as you can see, the Vienna experiment didn't just sneak past that limit, it blew right through it.
The statistical certainty here is just staggering, over 18 sigma. To put that into perspective for you, the famous discovery of the Higgs boson was a 5 sigma event. This isn't a fluke. It's not a measurement error. It's a fundamental truth about our universe. The cosmos, at its deepest level, does not have a fixed script.
So if time isn't a straight line and causality is fuzzy, then what about the very stage all of this plays out on, space-time itself? Well, the next set of discoveries suggests it might not be fundamental at all. It might be something that emerges from something even deeper. This is the famous ER equals EPR idea, and it's this beautiful concept that connects two of the biggest pillars of physics. It basically says that when two quantum particles are entangled, that's the EPR part, they are literally connected by a tiny tunnel through spacetime, a microscopic wormhole. That's the ER part. It's an amazing, elegant theory that links quantum weirdness with the geometry of general relativity.
And scientists actually tested it. Back in 2022, a team used Google's Sycamore quantum computer to simulate this whole thing, and they created a quantum state that behaved just like a traversable wormhole. Now, there was some controversy at first, but by 2025, they had totally validated their results. They found this key gravitational signature called size winding. It's a unique pattern in the quantum information that could only be made by a wormhole-like geometry. It proved it wasn't just some classical effect in disguise.
And this is the profound takeaway here. The Sycamore experiment didn't actually rip a hole in the lab. What it did was show that the informational geometry of a few qubits can be identical to the spacetime geometry of a wormhole. In other words, spacetime isn't the fundamental stage. It's an illusion that emerges from quantum information itself.
Okay, so let's try to put all of this together. The future is influencing the past. Causality isn't fixed. Space-time is emergent. What kind of universe are we even living in? This table really lays it all out. You've got the Vienna experiment proving indefinite causality. You've got Google's quantum computer showing space-time emerging from entanglement. You've got the retrocausal protocol demonstrating this backward-in-time influence. And there's even another experiment I didn't get to, which proves the past and future are naturally entangled through empty space. This isn't speculation anymore. This is a mountain of evidence.
So what does this all mean for us? Well, the first big insight is that we have to stop thinking about time as this river we're trapped in. It's much more like a field of information, a resource we're just now figuring out how to tap into. I mean, scientists are literally mining information from these temporal connections in the vacuum.
The second insight is even more wild. Cause and effect, the bedrock of all our logic, seems to be an emergent property, not some fundamental law. It's like the universe operates on a need-to-know basis. It only bothers to snap a definite causal order into place when a measurement forces its hand. Otherwise, it's totally content just existing in a superposition of timelines.
And the final takeaway is this. If the geometry of spacetime can be perfectly mimicked by the interactions of a few qubits, it's a huge clue that the universe itself is, at its most fundamental level, a kind of quantum computation. The source code of reality isn't written in equations about particles and forces, but in the language of quantum information.
And this leaves us with a pretty profound final thought. We've always thought our actions in the present are writing some unknown future. But if all these discoveries hold true, if the future is actually reaching back to help determine our present, then our choices right now aren't just shaping what's to come. They're also part of that cosmic handshake, solidifying what has already been. What we do now doesn't just echo forward, it echoes backward too, completing the very circuit that creates reality.